All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trades. Today's Friday, November 11th, 2022. If you're not done so already, give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts and analysis. Also, deadline for the price increase on the courses is going to be Monday, so that'll be the 14th. So encourage everybody to go check those out this weekend. Thanks to everybody who's jumped on that. I'm excited for you guys to learn the methodology and ask anybody who's taken the courses. It's awesome material that you can put to work really the next day. So, and you can use it on all time frames, even the cycles course and everything in the essentials course. That is available in there. Anyways, doing this video a little early today. It's almost 2 o'clock. It's a holiday. Bond market's closed. The spiders are basically asleep right now. We're at 51 million shares at 1:53 p.m. and we're in float mode. Neutral to upside bias. Bond market's closed. It's a holiday. Big boys are all already in the Hamptons for the weekend. So, and if we look at the book map here. Let me pull it up so I didn't have it all. I just restarted Thinkorswim here. But there is an order at 4,000 on the ES that's trying to fill right now. And I'll try and show that for you here. So that's trying to fill right now. And we also have one at 40.15 that just popped up, I believe, a few minutes ago. So, again, they're probably going to try and close us above that even round number on the 4,000 handle. You see the SPX right there. The ES is just below that, 39.9750. And then obviously the spiders here at 398. So it does look like they want to push us up to get us to close above that on Friday. More kind of OPEX stuff. So next week we do have a monthly OPEX. A lot of the time you'll see the moves kind of happen Thursday or Friday before. I think a lot of yesterday's move was that. And let's not make a mistake about it. I mean, that was a gamma squeeze. And I tweeted this out. I'll show you guys here. I tweeted this last night. But the expected move for Friday, as of Wednesday's close, was 89 points on the SPX. And guess how many points we gapped up yesterday? It was 111. So right off the bat, it was gamma squeeze. And that, and I said that in the stream yesterday, the only way you can get up 7% in a day, especially like the market's not pricing in a full pivot. There's no way that's happening. It's just a gamma squeeze. It was a total screw job. And that's just the way the business is sometimes, but you got to respect it. Markets are higher here. It does look like they want to get above that 400 handle there on the spiders. That also coincides with, again, that inverse head and shoulder target. So there's your measured move, 401, 401.50. We'll call it even there. And then, of course, if you get through that, we have obviously the 200 moving average just above there. And then this is a master trend line here that has been resistance all year long. And then you have this pivot, which is also major resistance here, right around 410, 411. So there's a big zone of resistance here. And then, of course, this upsloping trend line, which we're probably not going to get to, just because it's, if we hadn't pulled back here and we went straight up, we would have had a chance to get there right in that kind of X marks the spot there. But because we've already pulled back, it's not going to line up. But either way, that sloping trend line is there as well, for what that's worth. But that would be your target here in the near term. It all depends on how we trade into there, though, right? If we go straight up into it, kind of like we did here, we had a little bit of a flag-ish pattern, and then we kind of just went straight up, overbought into it. It's going to be major resistance, but if you consolidate, then maybe it can make another push. So I definitely can't rule that out here. This market's definitely been tricky this year, and you got to stay on your toes and take it one day at a time. But those are the levels here. In any case, on the spiders, we are a little overextended, though. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see some type of a pullback into the early part of next week. But anything can happen when you get these squeezes. Triple Qs here again. So this 290 level is also pretty major. I get that you came down and you kind of just broke out of this little level here around 285. But this is still a big pivot, 100 MA, and then that blue trend line, which was still resistance the last time we hit it, even though we traded through it in the month of August. It still was resistance back in September, so we'll respect that for now, but we are starting to inch above it. So again, there's still a little bit more upside here for the Qs. If you get through that, maybe they want to target that 300 whole round number, which I think there would be a lot of resistance up there. But for now, let's leave it at that. The Qs are hanging in there. Russell here is backing off the highs a little bit. Again, 200 moving average, it got above that. it's kind of pulling back. This wasn't that major though, because we came up here already and then put in a higher low and then attacked it again. So I wouldn't really say that 200 is too big of a deal. The bigger level here on the Russell's right around 195. So we'll be watching that into next week. But again, for right now, no problems with the Russell. The Diamond, the Dow is the only index that's lower today. That's mainly due to UNH, which is getting hit down over 5% on the day. It's holding up that 200 moving average, but that is dragging the Dow down, as that is makes up a big weighting as the Dow's price cap weighted. Anyways, semis, another powerhouse move. We have NVIDIA earnings next week, I want to say. I believe they have them next week, so we'll be watching that. But semis, yeah, I told you 218 yesterday. They filled the gap, and that's actually through that. So this looks like it wants the 200 moving average right now. And then you're going into that red sell bar, so that should be some resistance there. But powerful move there for the semis, and they're holding up okay. Can't say anything wrong with them right now. IGV still on the weaker side, still not even above this pivot here from the first of the month. So this is still struggling a little bit. It looks like it's just trying to crack above it now. But again, cloud software is very weak right now, really, with the exception of Oracle. That's really the only strong one. Strong name. This is actually not a terrible pattern here on Oracle for an advance, but the rest of the sector is pretty poor, if you ask me. Transports here, again, continuing higher. So above the 200 moving average now, and that is going up into this red bar here. So again, these squeezes can go a lot higher than you think, and this looks like what we're seeing here. So I talked about that 14,000 handle. It was good for a one-day pullback, and that's really all it was. I mean, it went up to 13.9 and change. And then 1-2 right up. Next level is going to be up here in this 14, near high 14s, 15 area. That pivot there, that should be pretty major there. But transports hanging in there for now, so we have to respect that. Interest rates via the 10-year. We can't even talk about that. I'm just used to I'm just used to flipping over to them. We can look at the futures. Bond market's close today. So yeah, ZN 10-year basically just hanging in there. Bond market's not doing anything. It's just kind of going sideways. As far as the futures are concerned, you see ZB, ZT. So really just kind of an inside pattern here with the bond market closed, as you might expect here. But yeah, muscle memory just doing that to me there, pulling up the TNX. XHB continuing higher, so back above the 200 period moving average again, pivot high, red bar. So that should be resistance coming into next week. But again, things are holding up, and if we stay buoyant and we stay light volume and we stay squeezing, these things can go higher than you think. So just be aware of that. VNQ, again, nice follow through today. So that's confirmed above. That's a confirmed inverse head and shoulders. And I like that gap and go above the 50 moving average. Let's take a look here. We'll just do the target. Here we go. So that should take you up to 94, right in that area, which coincidentally, or perhaps not, takes you right to the old head and shoulder neckline. So this head and shoulder played out to target. It actually exceeded the target a little bit, but that's where it's going. And then of course that kind of coincides right there with that pivot and gap fill. So that will be an interesting level there for VNQ. We'll keep an eye on that moving forward. So definitely we'll watch that. But nice day there for VNQ, up about 0.5% there. XLF kind of chopping around, but it is green on the day, up 1%. It was kind of all over the map. Again, it's trying to get above this pivot here. I haven't done, I'll have to do a little bit more numbers on this to see if I can figure out how much higher it can go, but it's getting very extended here. You guys know I've talked about Goldman and JP Morgan. I mean, this is just ridiculous here. But JP Morgan as well, up another 0.5% today. So just ridiculously extended here. And these, again, I say it every day, but when you don't build support, you can go right back down. And the same, just a good example here is the spiders. No support was built here. We had one little move, and then we just pretty much, outside of that little retrace there, it's just right down. So you got to build supports, and that's just indicative of a short squeeze. XBD, again, another new high here. This is coming into this pivot. That should be pretty major here in the near term. But again, XBD is holding up well, so we'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Crude here, I'm not really sure what crude's trying to do. This looks like a little bit on the weaker side, because you have now, it's basically like this double top you hit, and you're almost kind of moving down. You close below this green breakout bar, so that could be a fake breakout. And now you're kind of just below this trend line. If you go sideways here, this looks like a bearish pattern to me, and that could head lower. So we'll be watching that. I would like that to happen because I want to buy it. But for right now, it looks like it's under a little bit of pressure. and we're not going to get that weekly close on that inverse head and shoulders, obviously, because we're not getting the daily close either. So that does look like a failed breakout here. So we'll see if that does head lower next week. But, it's holding up for now. It's not, no real problems, but it does look like it wants to be under a little bit of pressure here. XLE, what can you say? Up another almost 3% here. I still don't think this has too much more to go. But, again, it's holding up for now. We got to respect it. XOP, same thing, but no new highs there for XOP. And then the OIH. Continue to make a new high. I think this one can get up a little bit, maybe 325, somewhere in that area, before it's got to pull back a little bit more. But again, what's it up like 65% now in the last month? Just amazing moves here on these oil and gas companies. And then Nat Gas actually taking a pretty good hit today. Again, still holding the lows though. So really, there's been like kind of this floor here right around 570, 575 for the last 2 weeks. I do think it pushes below that eventually, but again, we got to wait on pattern for this. This is just too all over the map. And then dollar index. So this is finally, so we talked about technical damage yesterday. Yes, obviously we had follow through there to the downside. That should get down to 103 possibly. Maybe not in a straight line, but there's a lot of support down there. And then of course there's some at 104, 105 here. You see this level there, 200 moving average. And I believe there's the 50 week moving average there as well. So again, we are violating that 20 week moving average for the first time since 6/14/21. So that's on a closing basis. We did pierce through it a few times, or we did pierce through it a couple times back here, but we're going to close below it and the green bar low. So dollar index in corrective mode here. That this doesn't mean it can't move higher though. I want to be clear on that. But it is in corrective mode now, so that is now confirmed. We have to respect that moving forward. Gold here, basically just kind of it is. I was going to say a pause day, but it's actually up 80 basis points. It's hanging in there okay. And dollar index down a lot, and gold's really not up that much. So I don't know if that's really telling us something here. But considering how much the dollar is getting hit, it's surprising to see gold down, or not gold down, but gold not up as much. GDX stalling out here, but in fairness, it went from 22.5 to $28 in 7 days, so it's due for a breather regardless. Same thing with silver, although silver is holding up well. I like that you came up into the 200 moving average and that you didn't like reject and react like that. You're just kind of chopping around. So the more this consolidates here, this can push higher. I think into that 23, low 23s area is kind of what we're looking at there on spot silver. For platinum, that did retrace here after getting all the way up to 1075. And the thing with these thinner metals, they can overshoot. So I talked about 1,000 and then 1025, and it just got all the way up to 1075. And that's what happens when you have thin trading. They can overshoot those levels. But what a move there on platinum. I've been telling you guys I like this really for the last couple of months here, and what a nice move there for platinum futures. Copper here, also big boy move. Looks like that wants the 200 moving average here. On the weekly, maybe gets up to that breakdown area. So 403, that was your last pivot low, kind of your breakdown area. 50 moving average, 100 moving average on the weekly. And then, of course, the 200 day moving average, which is not that far away. But those are your levels there on copper. And nice little pop there for copper. Anyways, flipping over to Bitcoin. So it's a little premature here. We had a nice reversal yesterday, but this is still under a lot of pressure, right? This is not telling us that there's anything. It's not out of the woods, and it's premature, but you could make a case that you're starting an inside bar here. So if this continues sideways, I would be very, very nervous about holding long right here. Again, Ether down as well. Pretty much everything looking all the same, but it's not a good look here. You want to see it break above that, and you want to see a daily close above 19,000. So that would be 19,035 to be exact. To negate this red bar. And then you still have to negate this one too, but that's kind of your first step here. You don't want to see it chop in this range. That's going to put in a bear pattern, and it's going to set up for a move lower. So be careful with crypto here, and let it, crypto right now, it's improve it mode, if you ask me. So anyways, let's flip back over to the spiders. Looks like we're continuing to just float higher. Yep. So we'll see if they fill those orders. 40.15, again, it's not that far away. Really isn't that far away, and with the light volume right now, they could easily get it up here by 4 o'clock. So again, I do expect that to probably happen. Next week is Options X, so we'll be ready for lots of whipsaw, be ready for rumors, be ready for news, and stay on your toes. Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll talk to you guys all tomorrow.